So I thought I would start doing a Tarot Thursday, and it's interesting because I did quite a bit of tarot quite a long time ago, but moving more into energy healing I don't do as much anymore. So I thought I'd get back into it, and I picked up these fantastic cards, and they're called the Psychic Tarot by John Holland. And I do really like the imagery and the messages that they have. Some can be really like they have these really big meanings, and you're kind of going, oh, I don't really know how much that really fits, but these are really to the point, and there's no tricks with tarot cards. It's literally just whatever feels right at the time, you pick it. And these are just the imagery ones. There's also the Rider-Waite ones, which are have a different meaning, but they actually have in these ones the different cards that Rider-Waite also applies to it. So some can apply to the Magician from the Rider-Waite as well. So the cards that I picked up today are pretty much for the next month. I was getting that message as I was focusing on them, and I think there's a big pattern. And as I talked about the last video about coming up and down, and it's going to be a constant energy shift change over the next month, but it's really pushing us towards 2016 and getting us into that right space of intention. So the first card that came up was intuition. And when I'm looking at this card, we're talking about intuition is the language of the soul. And when this card shows up in a reading, it's a clear message that's saying you need to listen to your intuition. Give it a chance, and you'll quickly notice how it might be trying to get your attention. It might be even in dreams or just day-to-day basis. So it's basically saying start listening to that gut feeling, start listening to that knowing feeling, really start paying attention to what's happening in your life and how you can use your intuition on a day-to-day basis. It talks about the powerful signs that you might be seeing around you, synchronicities that you might be seeing around you, and that's probably including all sorts of things that can come. From angels, you can have messages of feathers or leaves or just little things that might happen around the house, but also dreams. Really pay attention to your dreams. Because any messages that are coming through our mind's eye, through our pineal gland, is all messages from all sorts of spaces. So really important to listen to those dreams and really see if there's something in there that your intuition's guiding you towards. So the card's saying to turn inward, to start really focusing on what you need, focusing on your insights, and focusing on within your internal speech, but not the negative speech, the intuitive speech, the gut feeling. When you're meditating and you connect to your higher self, that connection there, you're listening to that connection there. And it does say that this card is a comparison to the traditional tarot archetype, the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is a really powerful card. So I think for a monthly review of tarot, this is kind of saying really start listening to intuition, which I've talked about before, and I talk about all the time. I say it's really time to start listening to yourself, not others and not anyone else. And I've said it in the meditations. It's time to really let go of those permissions and literally just listen to yourself, because it's your life, it's your soul, it's your mind, it's your body, and it's your future. And so, it's about healing that past and pushing into the future that you want. So that's the first card. And then second card I got was partnerships and alliances. I love this card. It's such a positive card. And really, it's just having a look at what the book says. But, from it you can see that there's something that's connecting you to someone. And it's connecting both ways. Look at that. And it doesn't necessarily mean a loving relationship. It can just mean you're starting to see something blossom. You're starting to see a partnership or an alliance blossom, and it could just be a friendship. It could be with yourself. You know, I really believe that it could just be something that's an internal thing for yourself. It's just about making connections and opportunities and really going with what you feel intuitively is a positive connection for you. One thing that it does say in the book that I find really interesting is it says, when you're looking at the exchange of energy between a partnership or alliance, this can be a relationship, this can be business, this can be personal, but it's saying you need to look at that give and receive energy. And, you know, if you're choosing people to work with or live with or be with or just be friends with, look at what they're giving back to you and whether that's a positive space for you. And that's the importance of connections with partnerships or alliances. And whether they, you know, it's going to work and whether it's at the overall balance of what a connection should be. And it does say in the book, this card reminds you that success comes in many forms, even from the most unlikely sources. Have an open mind when listening to others. So, yeah, I guess if someone's telling you, I'm not sure about that, listen to it and see what your intuition says, and it might agree. There's been many times where someone said that to me, and I'm really glad they have, because sometimes I can be a bit blinded by someone's really nice and I'm not tapping into that energy space of where they actually are and whether that's the kind of friendship that I want in my life. So that card's a very positive one. And when you think about it, say for a tarot reading for a more input, like more to the collective, you're looking at how we can work together as a beautiful world and as a beautiful planet and as humans on the planet. And I guess that's the reason why we do the meditations, is because we're giving and receiving energy, and we need to really learn how to do that. You need to learn to be able to receive energy. I think too many times people are just giving, or they're receiving, and we don't have that real mix of, okay, well, I can give to, and then I can receive. So that's what that one's about. And then the third one I thought was really interesting. When I first picked it out, I thought, oh, really? But I do think it's an important card. And then I read what it said in the book and I thought, oh yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I really like that, because it talks about, you know, what we've talked about, or what I've talked about in the last video, which is about that up and down. And it's okay to have that up and down. And it's a mental card, and it represents the learning and changes that you're going through and how to handle it. It talks about the sensitivity or the lack of sensitivity in taking action for situations around you, and that there might be a need for sensitivity in that situation or for that person. So it could be about, if you're putting it on a wider scale, it could just be about other people around us and just how we treat them, and just be a bit more sensitive to how they are and how they're living. And, you know, maybe they're not choosing to be in that place. Working in social work, they'll always say people don't choose to be drug addicts. They unfortunately have been through some really horrible emotional trauma, and they use that as their escape. So I do think we need to be a lot more sensitive about how people are and what space they're in. And it just says in here, I love this bit, it says, don't assign blame. Sometimes it's better just to walk away. Don't blame them, don't be deceitful, don't set out for revenge, and because this just results in that negative energy coming back towards you. It's about remembering that everything in your life is an opportunity to learn and grow. That's a really important space to be in. We really have spent a couple months just going, okay, all right, I don't want to work here, or I don't want to do this, or, you know, working out what your soul really wants to do. And a part of that is the biggest lesson, which is be kind to everyone. And, you know, whatever you put out there, you're manifesting and you will get it back. It will be a beautiful ebb and flow of energy if you can get into that space. And then the fourth one is a beautiful, beautiful card, Passion Ignited. And this card is, it says in the book, it's the spirit cards. And it signifies that it's time to let your soul soar. What a magnificent card for the next month. And, you know, I've talked about before about the new moon, and it is time for your soul to soar. It really is time for us to go, okay, what does my soul want, not what does everyone else want for me, and letting yourself just bask in that glow of self. It says in the book that it's about new beginnings, ideas, revelations, exciting adventures are waiting for you, creative endeavors, enthusiasm, positive energy. And you can just get that from the card. It's such a beautiful card. The flame, you know, it's the creating a fire inside of you, and you know, igniting that flame, igniting that fire inside of you, that creative flow, and that creative pulse, and yeah, it's just an incredible card. It also says the best thing about this card is it represents when other people are saying to you, oh, why are you so happy, or what's your secret? And it's just about loving yourself, being kind, and it's about letting yourself and your soul be who it really is, and then you can really just soar, as it said at the start. So yeah, that's my 4 cards for the next month. I think that's a pretty good review of what really we've been going through at the moment. I love these cards. I always use them before I see a client just to have a bit of an intuitive feel about what's going on for them. And usually if I'm writing a meditation for them, it'll go in that respect, and I'll be able to reflect back and go, oh wow, that's really interesting, how they were really spot on. So if you want to check out more, I'm going to put a blog up about tarots today. I'll put it up on our Facebook page anyway, but check it out on the website www.holisticaventure.com.au. Check out our Instagram, which is @holisticaventure. We've got a couple of hypnotherapy tracks up. One's for eating healthy, and we've got one for timeline therapy, and they're just really, really good because it's nice sometimes, and I started doing hypnotherapy at home, and sometimes it's just good to be able to get yourself into a space of doing that at home, doing it in your own space, and then you can later go, okay, I really want to take this further and maybe go for an hour session with someone, and we provide that service here as well. So sometimes it can be about, okay, I'll do this at home, get yourself, and the other one's self-confidence, hypnotherapy. So yeah, sometimes it is just about getting yourself into that space of, I do want to change, but I don't really know what to do straight away. I don't know if I want to go see someone. Seriously, these tracks, we've recorded them. There's a timeline therapy guided meditation. It's only $12. It is seriously an incredible meditation towards starting to unblock your first emotional trauma in this lifetime. And it's the first therapy that I actually did that really started my journey. And if you are ready to start your journey, seriously, jump on, get to our website, jump on the store and buy it. $12. It's honestly like a huge special, to be honest. We would usually charge $65 for a half an hour session here. So, it's an NLP thing. It's also, a hypno kind of track, but I've also called it a guided meditation because I do get you really relaxed into a good space to be able to find that trauma. And it is a really beautiful meditation to sit in your bed and just, put your earphones on. So honestly, if you're not sure if you want to see anyone yet, not sure where you are in your journey, jump online, grab that guided meditation. There's also Healthy Life Hypnotherapy. It's about changing your thoughts on eating, changing your thoughts on when you eat, and trying to get yourself into a better space. And that's one of the first hypnotherapies I did. And honestly, it's really good just to start getting your head into eating better. Self-confidence is another one. I actually originally wrote that for Kane. And when we first moved in here, I think actually into this house, and it's a really, really good one on just building your confidence. Sometimes we just need little confidence hits just so that we can go, oh, okay, I can get through this day. And you just need to have that. The beauty about hypnotherapy is it just gets you into a really relaxed state, and then it cuts off your conscious thoughts, so you're not overthinking things, and it just starts putting things into your unconscious. And they're $15 for those hypnotherapy tracks. Honestly, as I said, if you're really interested in hypnotherapy or meditation, jump on our web store, grab those. You won't regret it. And if you're interested, then you can either come into our therapy room in Seddon, or I can do a Skype energy healing, or I can even do timeline therapy, and we can try and find different emotional traumas. We can do it in other ways with hypnotherapy as well. If you know what you want to deal with, definitely do it through hypnotherapy. It's nice and quick. We just talk to your unconscious. You will leave feeling like a weight has been lifted off. And it's a perfect time for it now. We're at Christmas time. It is seriously a really good time to start dealing with some of the stuff that might be stressing us out. Family, we're going to have to see our families soon, things like that. yeah, and there's always stresses around Christmas no matter what. It can be a really busy time leading up to it. So check out those and check out our blog post, because I will be putting something up on tarot cards. And yeah, hope that you have a really good weekend. It's Thursday today, so nearly the weekend. And I will definitely be putting another video up soon. Bye.